United States Ambassador Mike Huckabee, welcome to Jerusalem and the JNS Global Forum.
It's quite an event. This event is just full of explosive energy, excitement, and I'm honored and thrilled to be here.
Well, I can tell you this crowd, along with the people of Israel, have been waiting for someone like you for at least 4 years. And probably even longer. So it's a real pleasure to have you here.
It's such an honor for me to be able to represent President Trump. I cannot begin to tell you how grateful I am that he's given me this incredible privilege to come home to a land that I've been coming to for 52 years. I didn't expect this. I wasn't asking for it, never had a conversation with him about it. But when he calls and said, he doesn't ask you, do you want to do it? He calls and says, Mike, you're going to Israel. You're going to be ambassador. And it was an Isaiah moment for me. Here am I, Lord, send me.
Unbelievable. You were called like Abraham was called. Lech lecha,
I don't
go to your
put myself
land.
in that same category, but It certainly was a calling. And I really believe that. With all my heart, I believe that.
Well, I'll tell you, Ambassador, for us, speaking with you, for the people of Israel, is also like speaking to a friend.
I hope so.
It
Absolutely.
is. And, I remember, I have to bring you back a little while, I ran the city of David for 21 years.
My.
And I remember, when Governor Huckabee comes, I'm standing there with my guiding book, ready to guide you. You come in, hello, how are you, sir? And then you guide the group, and I'm walking around behind you being like, that's the city of David.
That's so funny. I had not remembered that till you mentioned it, but the city of David is one of the most incredible, important archaeological discoveries in the history of mankind, because for all those people that said, the Jews really don't have any place here. There's no connection to this land. They pretend that, well, archaeology, let's just say it this way, follow the science. The science has absolutely verified the history of the Jewish people to Jerusalem. The city of David is indisputable. And I love the fact that it has been said, and it's true, never has an archaeological discovery controverted a single verse of Holy Scripture.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And one side wants to dig because of this, and the other side, God forbid if you should dig. Yeah. And that's the way...
But that really does, I think, if people were honest, that shows the world that no one is afraid of truth. No one is afraid to find out what the facts are. The deeper you dig, the more truth and facts you come up with. The city of David is an affirmation of the truth of the Jewish connection to Jerusalem.
That's amazing. And it's amazing to have those words from you. It is somebody who's representing the United States, which is a blessed country and shares values so similar to Israel. And, while you're here, I think for all the people here, and certainly for myself and the people of Israel, this is an opportunity for us to ask you a question. And you were sent here by President Trump, made this offer you couldn't refuse.
Absolutely. Well, the president loves Israel. No American president, none, have done anything close to what President Trump has done to align the United States with our ally, Israel. Whether it's the Abraham Accords, which was historic, moving of the embassy to Jerusalem, recognizing the Golan Heights, recognizing Jerusalem as the undisputed, indivisible city that is the capital for the Jewish state. All of those are just some of the ways in which President Trump has over and over demonstrated that he believes that there is a destiny for the people of Israel, and he's been a very important part of it. So to be able to represent the president and his policies is an incredible privilege that I have.
I want to ask you, because this is something that's kind of flittering through the crowd today. We know and we feel this unbelievable, it really is a feeling of such joy to have President Trump, especially considering what we've been through the last 2 years and 4 years and how difficult it was during this war. And now we know he has our best interest in mind, but of course, first the United States. And with the negotiation with Iran, there's also starting to be a feeling of trepidation. And, because, of course, a deal with Iran is something that makes us very scared because we don't trust the Iranians. And I wanted to ask you, do you mind telling us, you know him better than anyone, tell us about President Trump and how we should feel about what's happening right now with Iran, if I may.
No, it's a perfect question. And I think the thing to do is listen carefully to what he himself says. Give you an example. This past weekend, when he was on his way to Rome to be at the funeral of the foe. One of the reporters aboard Air Force One asked him, "Are you going to let Israel drag the United States into a war?" His answer was blunt and Trumpian. Here's what he said: "Nobody's dragging me into anything. If the Iranians don't give up their nuclear capacity and their weaponry, if they don't give it up and do what we know they must do, nobody will drag me into anything. I'll be leading it." That's the President Trump that the people of Israel need to know.
So we can rest assured that he will not allow us to have an armed Iran with a nuclear weapon on our border.
Repeatedly said there was no way that the Iranians are going to have a nuclear weapon. And I really believe that the president means what he says and says what he means. He understands that Israel is a vulnerable nation, that for 46 years, the Iranian regime has said, death to the little Satan, Israel, death to the great Satan, the United States. It's not just about Israel. And I try to tell my American friends all the time who say, that's none of our business. I'm saying, you better believe it's our business. They took hostage 50-plus Americans in 1979. Don't forget that they have never ceased. They never said, you know what, we've changed that. We're not threatening America anymore. It's death to Israel, death to America. That message has not changed in 46 years. We would be insane not to believe that they would hurt us if they could.
Absolutely. And we certainly feel like we're on the front, and we know that you and President Trump feel that way. And I think on some level, President Trump's optimism about Israel has even caught us by surprise. and his plan, his Gaza plan that he has floated. What are your thoughts about Israel's ability? It seems like he came with this clarity and broke a paradigm that made no sense of a two-state solution and the problems in Gaza for Israel and the Gaza people. How do you see Israel's reaction? And are we grateful enough and are we willing enough to move forward with this plan?
When I talk to the president, I always say to him, do you have any idea how popular you are in Israel? How much the people love you and they trust you? And you've created a situation where it's natural that they would, because no president has ever stood with him. No sitting president has ever gone to the hotel. Never. He did. He's broken the sound barrier over and over again when it comes to the relationship that the United States has with our ally Israel. And I think sometimes people forget that it is in our strategic interest to have this partnership. It's not something that a lot of Americans may think, oh, that's a one-way street. Israel gets all these benefits. What are we getting? I try to remind them, let me tell you some things we're getting. We're getting not only the military intelligence and military hardware that we share that benefits us, but we benefit economically. Technology, medical care, things that Americans have no idea were actually created at Hadassah Medical Center right here in Israel. Agriculture. There are agricultural miracles that have happened in Israel. Our farmers and ranchers in the United States benefit from the agricultural innovations of Israel. So the notion that it's all Israel's benefit, no, America benefits dramatically from the relationship we have.
It's tremendous. I'm listening to you, Ambassador Huckabee, and I feel like I could listen to you for hours because we've been...
Well, Israel says she has to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm willing to. You could tell it. We've been facing a world which seems to, in some of the world, demonize Israel in probably the most justified campaign ever. And as you're speaking, and I didn't think about this before, I'm thinking about Jethro, who meets Moses in the desert, and he understands what he's doing is good, but there's maybe a way that he can advise him to go about doing it. And I want to thank you, Ambassador Huckabee, and I want to bless you on behalf of the people of Israel, that your inspiration should fill our hearts, and this relationship should just grow.
There's no place in the world I'd rather be than right here in Jerusalem, serving my country, my president, and the people of America. And I pray that we will see, while I'm here, the peace of Jerusalem.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.